Okay,
do
part
the
two.
actions, do what you're supposed to do. You have to do the things still. Still have to do the work, of course. But that's sort of my point. And so from the Protestant side, it's a lot about it's a lot focused on just belief, and it's a lot of it's focused on communal understanding, like what everyone believes as a community. And then it's like, but there's such instability in what everyone believes as a community because there are so many differences in what everyone believes. And I've seen it.
No, they
Like,
believe in what's called
I've been there.
the core doctrines.
I've gone to a Protestant church and I've listened to the pastor's sermon and
And the problem is they put Trinity in there, and sometimes they don't even put pro-life in there. You could literally be in favor of abortion and be a Christian.
wait a minute,
That's not a core. That's like a secondary or a third thing.
what the heck, like
But
I
if
don't
they
think
believe in faith alone, what else do you really need up there?
it's true. Or what's going on, I don't think that's true. And in that case, it wasn't true. But when I had that, and that's what prompted me to join the church. Basically, that's what led to me joining the church. And that's another story, wonderful story. But
Please make a video sharing the story.
I feel like the people who really want to know the question, not the questioner. It's not that you're a questioner as a negative thing, and it's not that you're a doubter, right? It's more so because look, it's okay. Everybody's imperfect. We all doubt sometimes. We all wonder. We all have questions. We're not perfect, but
Not everyone has questions.
it's the people, and it's not everybody, because a lot of people are just, I hate to say this, I don't mean this in a negative way, but a lot of people are just blind believers, and
Exactly.
you know,
It's mostly a Utah thing.
and that's not to say that it's wrong just to have faith or just to believe, because that's great, but
Well, I guess there's different kind of blind believers. There's people who have no skepticism, but they're genuine.
at times,
Like you meet sister missionaries all the time, and they're like, well, one of the reasons I'm LDS is because non-LDS is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
but that ties back into
But
you
there's
have
other people
testimony or not,
in Utah that there's cultural Mormons, there's Jack
where does your
Mormons.
testimony come from? Does it come from other people, or does it come from the truth that you have found through pursuing God? Does it come from the truth that you have received from God, or does it come from others and what they have said? Because there's
Yeah, and I want to say that the religion will bring you to Christ, and Christ will bring you to the religion.
a lot of people.
The religion is the bride of
What I'm
Christ.
trying to say is there's a lot of people who in churches they would never question the pastor. They would never question him. They have a really strong faith in him. They have a really strong allegiance in him, a really strong belief in him. They believe that because he is our pastor, we must believe him, and he is telling the truth. He has to be telling the truth.
Yeah, and we feel the same way about Nelson. And they have good reasons to trust their pastors over themselves. If they only have 5 Bible verses memorized and their pastor has 275, why would they trust themselves? You know,
He's our
um,
pastor.
and with us, we have 70, 80, 90, 100-year-old men who have been walking with the Lord longer than we've been alive. So it can make sense to listen to them and not question them too much, because there's something foolish about a 13-year-old looking up and questioning the doctrine of Bednar. Does that make sense? Like, at least me and Hubbard. I mean, Hubbard, he reads some stuff, and we could probably find a misspeak, 1 or 2 misspeaks every 8 hours at General Conference if we were really looking. We could find the half truth, and I've done it, but just for the blood sport of it. But when you look at the pastors and the Christians, it's like sometimes it's multiple times per minute, or sometimes it'll be the entire sermon is just whack, and they're going, it's like, they're like, whoops, they're worshiping the Antichrist, that sermon. I don't see that very much at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, even in the local wards. It's very rare that someone gets up and what they're saying is blasphemy. I mean, maybe the way that they're saying it, and you could tell that they don't fear the Lord behind the pulpit, and their voice is, it's like, okay, well, I don't like you, but when you actually look at the words that they're saying, it's really not that bad, maybe some neutrality here, neutrality there, but I mean, it's like, even like I said, the Aaronic priests, the 14-year-olds, they come up there with a handwritten sermon, and it's amazing. It's amazing, and our church is just so inspired. And if the kid makes a misspeak, the parent tells him, and then he's burning in hell for 8 days, and He never makes a mistake ever again. So, Justin, I would challenge you here. I would challenge you here. I disagree with this strongly. If you're an idiot, you should listen to your pastor. And if you're a wise man, you should listen to the Quorum of the 70, the Quorum of the 15. And I basically sold my soul to Christ and everything that goes along with that. So I might be able to find some mistakes. Like I said, I'm finding some mistakes in your videos. I can find mistakes. It's just, are these mistakes that are going to bear bad fruit? Are these mistakes like? And sometimes I found mistakes. It's very sarcastic, or it's very like it's a joke, and it's 3/4 true, and I just pretend and I just make a big deal out of it. It'll be a sin of omission or something. I'm very pleased with our church. It's that we're so smart and we're so brilliant. Our definition of we have 8 different definitions of salvation. We have a 60 sentence definition of the word grace.
And he knows the Bible.
The world's smartest Jeopardy player, Ken Jennings, is LDS.
He went to Bible college.
It's amazing.
He went to seminary school. He went to divinity school. He went to whatever school, and therefore he knows. He knows, brother. He knows. And my point is
yeah, I don't think it's an L take to think that the guy with multiple PhDs who went to seminary college and spends more time studying the Bible than he does praying and reading the Bible is an idiot. I don't think that's an L take. Or is not an idiot, rather. I don't think that's an L take at all. Now, is the guy wrong about a lot of stuff? Of course, because those colleges are Calvinistic and they're just mobbed with demons because we live in freaking Harry Potter land. And the whole world is wicked, and it's just there's demons melting off the walls everywhere, and the devil has some sort of cosmic regional jurisdiction in 2 Corinthians 4:4, and 52% of the pastors watch pornography, and that's the ultimate problem with it. And it's not that they're not smart; it's just they're wicked. They're just so wicked. Once saved, always saved. Wicked, 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 wicked.
That we are doing the same thing, and that we are putting our trust in Joseph Smith. They would say the same thing. Well, you're putting your faith in man, and we're not doing that. It's like we're not putting our faith in man. We are putting.
Yeah, they prefer to put in Martin Luther and John Calvin.
Our faith in God.
These are not men. These are acts of God through men. Wicked. They love Steven Anderson, who he fell sexually. God. It's just wicked.
And
it's just a wicked world, and humans are wicked. All the humans will let you down. I was praying for Joseph Smith. Well, anyways.
Able to recognize
God told me,
and when truth is spoken,
God told me he likes Joseph.
Servants, the prophets and apostles, then we can recognize that truth, and we can know that truth, and we can have a surety of it. When the Spirit witnesses to you that something is true and manifests the truthfulness of it to you, you will know that's true, and it will be irrefutable. It will not be necessary to question. It will not be necessary to doubt in any way, because you will know. You'll have an absolute concrete knowledge that it is true. There is no doubt. When the Spirit confirms something, you know it's true. And the more you deepen your relationship with Christ, the more you continue on the covenant path, the more you strive to know more, and the longer you walk with Him, the more faithfully you serve, the more your testimony strengthens. The more
and also 1 John 4:1 says, "Do not believe every spirit. Test the spirits." So the Latter-day Saint, I call it the LDS Holy Ghost. It is my favorite Holy Ghost, but there are some good spirits. I call it the Red Holy Ghost at Protestant churches if they're on fire for Christ. There's been some great sermons. I go to what I call the Terrestrial Kingdom. Here locally, it's a 1/4 mile away from my house. I do Bible study there on Wednesdays. The sermons are terrestrial, and I have a different standard for them. It's like listening to worship music versus secular music. With secular music, I don't expect them to worship God every sentence. I hope and I pray and I hope that they aren't worshiping the devil. Like, I hate the song Paint the Town Red. That's a fail, even for secular standards. It's just worshiping the devil, and I hate the devil, and it's just too much devil, and it's just, please, don't make songs like that. Okay, but worship music, 90% of the judgment is the lyrics, and the lyrics, if you say someone's stupid and if you just it's just dumb, and then no, I hate that whole song now. And but with secular music, it's more about not worshiping the devil, and the worship music about worshiping God. That's why I have completely different standards for Uchtdorf and Bednar than I do for the local pastor of terrestrial church, because those are celestial talks versus terrestrial talks. And I always I grind my teeth when Bednar misspeaks in a Q&A, and it ruins my whole week. Whereas in a terrestrial sermon, the guy's quoting Rocky and he's saying what the puck and just stuff like that, and it's just the whole sermon is just a mess, and it's just wicked, and he'll tell a foolish story which leads to a foolish story which leads to a foolish story that has absolutely nothing to do with anything, and it'll just be wicked, and then he'll go back and then he'll bring out 1 John 2:4, and 1 John 2:4 it says, any man who claims to know God but keeps not the commandments is a liar, and the spirit is not in him. And next thing you know, I'm giving the talk an A+. Because I can't believe you just did that. No other church in California, outside of the LDS Church and I guess the Catholic Church, would ever bring up a verse like that. Did you really do that? You did that? And it's like I almost have like tears in my eyes. And everyone there is so wicked and they're so stupid that and they dress like it. They say, like, even the pastor, he'll dress like a cowboy who doesn't wash his clothes, and that's how he wear it. That's what he's dressed. This is what you get, you guys. And he'll just deliver this garbage sermon, and then there'll be a few diamonds and gold, and it's amazing. I love it, you know. And I even told him, I told the guy after, I said, this church is not that good, but it's so much better than everybody else. It's like the best team in the minor leagues. And the guy was pissed. And he just runs off and gets in the car. And I said, pray for me. He says, I will. And the LDS Church is the celestial kingdom. And if somebody is not wearing a tie, it makes you want to throw up, you know. If they go behind the pulpit, especially. It's like, really? You didn't wear a tie? Really? You know, and it's like, and this is one of our weakest members. And he goes up, he delivers a sermon that's way better than the pastor across the street. But I give him a B. You know what I mean? It's just different state. I posted this on Facebook. I said the heavens cheer when the heavens cheer and celebrate when a demon gets a D- on a morality test. The heavens cringe when an angel gets a B. And the idea is it's the handicap system. And demons are known for getting an F every single time. So when the demon of avarice or the demon of mammon or, I don't know, the demon of wrath, he just gets fed up with some sort of, like, with somebody else's sins. And he basically trades teams for a day, and he gets a 62% out of 100. And, you know, because even the devils hate certain kinds of evil at times, and you know, he just decides to have a nice day, and it breaks the trend. I mean, there are so many evil people on earth that are just so wicked, and then they'll do something good is the idea, and it's like it blows you away. It's like, I can't believe he just did that. You know, it's the Adolf Hitler who loves the German shepherds. Does that make sense? Adolf Hitler, he's known for being like one of the worst people ever. And he was just wicked, and all of a sudden he's alone with these dogs, and no one's looking, right, and he's petting these dogs, he's feeding them, and he liked them because they were obedient and they would listen to everything, but he genuinely liked those dogs, and that would be like the D-, where it's like, you know what, good for you. You like dogs, we like dogs, we all love dogs, you know. But my goodness, David Bednar, maybe he says a swear word. He thinks he's alone, but his kid had just come home from school and heard him from across the hall. And, Dad, did you just say, you know, a swear word? And maybe it's a substitute for a swear word or something. I don't know. But that's a B, and that's cringe. And the heavens are like, whatever. You know, I don't know. And it's just, it's like, Really? You said that, or like you say a joke, an off-color joke, or a wicked joke, or you laugh at a joke. These are all B's, C's, and the righteous can get it, and then you mix it with everything else throughout the day, and you end up getting a B. But you've been getting an A every single day for the last 1,000 days. So an A minus is a really bad day, and you got a B. And a B is like super cringe. Cringe is another word for off key or out of tune. It's just out of tune, and it's out of tune in a negative way usually. That's what cringe is. It's like out of tune, negative. So that was my Facebook post, and my cousin Julia liked it, But that's what I'm saying. There's different standards for different people. And when I say the LDS Church is false, or when I say the LDS Church is wicked and all this stuff, it is about as sarcastic as you could possibly be. It's because I place the church under the highest depths of the celestial law. Like, for example, last night. Today's Monday, right? Last night was yesterday was Sunday. Or is today Sunday? Today's Monday. I'm pretty sure, let's just say today's Monday. Yesterday, I was at church. I don't know. I went to bed whenever, but whatever it was, this last Sunday here, I'm sitting in a talk in the basketball gym, and we all have these fold-out chairs, and this guy's preaching on emergency funds, and the prophets have told us, let's get 6 months, and people are raised, and they say, well, it's harder to store water because the water can get bad after 8 months, even if it's kept well, and you have to buy the food, and then you go to Safeway, and then you get the Skippy peanut butter for $4.99. That's a good deal. So then I bought some more, and eventually I was just fed up with this, and I was burning up in the back. I was grinding my teeth, and then finally I just waited a minute, boom, raised my hand. I wish I would have recorded it because I had my phone on me, but my phone was off because I didn't want it to turn on and stuff. But you're going to have to believe me that I did this. I raised my hand. They're like, oh, yeah, Eric, yeah. Because everyone was raising their hand and saying amazing things. And I just raised my hand. I said, yeah, so I just want to let everyone know there's people starving in Africa and Uganda and Pakistan. Go ahead and just give it all to the poor. And just sell everything you have, give it to the poor. I do that 100%. And there was this girl she's like 8 years old next to me. And she looks at me and she felt so bad for me. And she's like, I can't believe he's saying this. And everyone was like, weirdo. Everyone's thinking, weirdo. Why would we do that? And then the guy says, give to other countries. That's good too. But yes, we need an emergency supply. And then I said, yeah, no, we don't. Just give it all to the poor. And everyone's just like, weirdo. Like, no, like they were giving me mixed looks, and everyone's pretending like I didn't say that. And nobody came up to me after and said, oh, I love what you said there, dude. It wasn't like that. Everyone's just like, ugh. Give to other countries. What are you thinking? And I was pissed. I was just pissed at it. And the prophets, they would never tell you to sell everything you have and give it to the poor because they don't even do it themselves. They would never do it. They couldn't do it, so they would never do it. And then afterwards I went to. There was this beautiful 76-year-old man who looks like he's probably 68. Multiple chins, just flesh just melting off his face, but just you could tell he has this big spirit and just really nice, happy, loving guy. And I said, yeah, what'd you think about what I said? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and I said, yeah, I just don't think we're righteous enough to do it. People other than me. And he says, yeah, we're good. He's like, we are good people. We are really good people. And then he's like, we're not that good. We're not that good. And I was like, yeah, I was like, bust off laughing. And then I went to Glenn, who is somehow 50 years old, and he's been single his whole life. One of his favorite verses is, it's better to live on the corner of a rooftop than with a quarrelsome wife, and he just loves that verse. And he has the gift of singleness or whatever you want to call it. And he would be willing to marry a high quality woman, but she's just not, hasn't fell into his lap yet, And I end up trying to talk to him, and he goes, "Yeah, well, you live at your house, with your dad, and it's easy for you to give 100% because you don't have any bills, and And I said, yes, but I pay my phone bill, right? And I pay for stuff. I buy stuff, and I still tell people I give 100% because I'm obviously talking about the money that's left over. I don't mind you guys buying. I don't mind you guys paying your rent. I don't mind you guys even living in a nice house that can resell later and can be given to the poor later. But my thing is, don't have a retirement fund. Don't have a savings account. Don't have 6 months worth of food in the house. Clean it all out. Live like minimalists and give it to the poor. In other countries, they're literally starving to death. And that's what I do. I clean out everything and I give it to the poor. And then at the end, I told somebody else, I said, you guys love Solomon more than Jesus because Jesus is the one who tells you to give it to the poor. Solomon is Proverbs 13:22. It's like it says a good man, gives to his children's children, And I told him, I feel like, this is what I told him. I said, what you guys are doing is wise. But what I'm doing is psychotic love. I'm even going into debt to give to the poor. And I said, you guys are, I said, you prefer a pound of wisdom to a pound of psychotic love. And he says, yeah, I don't want psychotic love. And he gets in his car and I just start busting up laughing. It was so hilarious. That was Glenn. He just gets in his car and he has this big smile and he shuts the door and he has this beat up Jeep, bless his heart, And then he drives away. There's this big lie in the church, Christian and LDS, that it's okay to be rich if you have a bunch of righteous money that you acquired righteously and you're not committing idolatry. If you don't love the money more than God, and all of a sudden it's okay and you're not in any sort of state of venial or mortal sin. And nothing can be further from the truth if you know the Lord, if you read the whole Bible, if you take the Bible seriously, if you read Jesus, if you know Jesus. Of course, that's not true. Matthew 22:38-39 says, the second greatest commandment is this, to love others as yourself. If Elon Musk was a Christian somehow, and he loved God so much more than his money, would he be in a state of sin, having $100 billion? Of course he would be. The second greatest commandment, unless the entire world was rich, which if I become president and we get on a new world order and we have this massive UBI for everyone on Earth, everyone gets a card or a stamp or a microchip in their left hand, and I just make everyone rich, then I don't really care if you're a millionaire. But in this world right now, no, there's no version of like, derp, I'm a millionaire and I'm not in a state of sin. Of course you're in a state of sin. There's people dying because of you. You have $1 million in the bank. They're dying because of you. Every time I spend money, even if it's something like small or like a $22 Popeyes chicken or something, I always tell myself, Eric, you do realize you're taking money out of the mouths of Evangelist Abraham and all these friends from Facebook who I could send the money with 7% drop. And they get it right to their PayPal. They all have the technology now with their phones. The charities gave them phones. You do realize when you eat food, you're causing someone else to not eat food. And I said, well, yeah, And the reason is because it tastes so delicious. Because it's, you know, and also I'm hungry myself, right? So there's some value there. It's like, and I realize I'm taking money from somebody else and I'm eating it. But I am convicted. What drives me crazy is there are Latter-day Saints who, they'll buy a iPhone for $1,000 and they'll kill people in other countries to get it, and they'll buy a car and they'll kill 30, 40 people to get it. And I know they don't think they're doing it. That's the problem. They don't even know they're doing it. Hosea 4:6, you will be destroyed for a lack of knowledge. 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved, works that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Proverbs 24:9, the thought of foolishness is sin. 1 Timothy 6:10, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Matthew 6:24, a man cannot serve two masters. He will love one and hate the other, love one and despise the other. Matthew chapter 19, verse 24, it is easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And the reason is because rich men are murdering people. Again, if America was the only country on earth, everyone would have welfare and food stamps. Everyone who's poor would have welfare and food stamps. So you can't say, oh, I'm killing people in America. No, you're not. America's the only country on earth. But you can say you're killing people in Pakistan and Uganda. So if we take the Bible seriously, you can, should, and will die and go to hell. The more money you have, the more people that you're killing. So don't do that. Sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and steward the money. Dave Ramsey is an abomination. Dave Ramsey is wicked, wicked, wicked. Not only is he committing idolatry, he's murdering people and he's telling people how to do it. He says, yeah, you should give out of your abundance. That's step 7. How many people actually get to step 7? It's pure selfishness. Now he does give tithing, which props to him for that. I don't know. Tithing, I don't think you should be giving tithing at all unless you're Catholic or a Latter-day Saint or one of the LDS branches, because it's not biblical. It doesn't even make sense. Restored gospel, yes, that makes sense. Catholic, sure, or if you have like a special church rule or something and you can get around it somehow. But it whether you give tithing or not, you need to give 100% of your money away. It's absolutely absurd that people are they're quote unquote stewarding God's money and then they blast off all their money on Disneyland. I feel inspired to write a if you go to Disneyland, you're wicked. I just want to say that, because for so many reasons. It's like you're feeding the beast. It's like you're taking money, you're taking food out of the mouths of people in Pakistan so you could feed the LGBTQ plus community through Disney by extracting fun, which is a telestial experience, and then you think you're a good person at the end of that because your kids had fun. Wicked. Okay. That's the end of part 2.